Welcome to the Nameless podcast. I'm Matthew Lopez-Kronicz. Thank you for joining us. My entire life, I felt like I was nameless and faceless. I didn't have value for the world. I didn't have a story. I didn't really matter. Last year in 2018, that really all changed. I woke up one day and I discovered I do have a story. I do have value to share to this world, and I do have a purpose. That is what the Nameless podcast is all about. It's about uncovering our own truths, telling our stories, and sharing it to the world, and hopefully making someone's life better. So join me. Every week, we're gonna uncover truths. Truths about myself, truths that I find out in the world, and sharing it in my own words. This is a podcast diary of sorts. We're also going to bring you interviews from amazing people, people that you don't know. Some people you might know, but it's going to be a journey of our own truths, our own way to uncover who we are and where we're destined to be. So sit back, relax, take a listen to the Nameless podcast. I'm Matthew Lopez-Kronicz. I appreciate you listening. As always, subscribe, share, do whatever to get the message out, because we all matter in our own way, and that's what this podcast is all about. Let's take a listen. Welcome to the Nameless podcast. I'm Matthew Lopez-Kronicz, and today I wanted to talk about why do any content, but I kind of specifically wanted to talk about video content just because I've had like 2 or 3 conversations with different people about, I guess, reasons why they wouldn't want to do video content. And then the other one was like about why they weren't doing content now. And so I kind of wanted to talk about, I wanted to dig into that because I think it was like August or, no, it was September, October that I did my first video. And for me, and I'll just start there, video content was, I guess you could say, scarier, but I don't really know if I would. We'll just go with that because I can't think of a better description right this second. And for me, it came back to 2 things. I guess 2 fundamental flaws within myself, but one of them being that, one, I thought I was ugly on camera, and then my voice sounded ridiculous. And that was all just internal stuff, things that I've been told from parents and whatever. And so that was just baggage that I was pretty much taking from my childhood. The second kind of thesis as to why I never wanted to do, and this reason really kind of echoes through all, was a barrier for all of my content, was the fact that I felt like I had nothing to say. And I've been thinking about that over the last couple of days, and I think that kind of roots into not being in tune with who you are and what you want to do and what your why is. Because honestly, I think you can bullshit through a lot of stuff, right? But if you're not in tune with who you are, then it's not gonna, when you're conversating or talking to anybody or what have you, if you're in line with your why, then really it's just gonna flow out of you. And then you can talk about what you're passionate about. You can talk about anything, like if it's plants or if it's movies or if it's, you know, different aspects of life. If you understand of who you are, then you're gonna be able to talk about the things that you want to talk about. And I don't think I definitely was not in tune with myself for a very long time. And so I think I only got like glimmers and flashes. So it was definitely always difficult for me to talk about myself. So I would always, joke or, divert or do any sort of other different things to kind of not talk about myself. And so now that I've kind of shed that, I guess, I mean, if you've read Lewis Howes' books, I mean, I shed some of those masks, excuse me, and shedding those masks, I've become more in tune with who I am and being more open with sharing myself, regardless of what anyone thinks for that matter. It's been easier to do video content or really anything in general. And I just feel like we place all these barriers, and some people's barriers are bigger, wider, longer, higher than others. You know, I can completely understand that, and it's just really honestly something that you just have to do, you know, because, and I've said this before, I started content with just reposting other people's stuff. And I'll still repost other people's stuff that, I really, really like because it just makes sense to me. But the majority of everything that I do is just original content. And I try to post as much original content as I can. I know that there's a lot of conversation on should it be consistent or should it be, when you actually have content to post. And I've gone back and forth. And generally, I try to post something every day. Um, but if if I'm in things or doing things, like this weekend, I didn't post anything. And it's totally fine. I'm not going to force myself to post something just to post something. I've getting to a place where I feel completely okay with whatever the numbers are. If there are 150 or if there are 2,500, it really doesn't make a difference in views. Um, and it shouldn't, but it's something that I've struggled with. But that's also another aspect that I've heard is, well, what about views and things that, I don't think that should really be a barrier. I mean, if you have something to say, you have a topic, you have something you can niche down on, you're an expert in something, or it's just something that you just really care about and you want to talk about. I mean, it could be whatever. You should just do it, you know? If you like if you like writing, you should share your writing. I mean, there's a connection I have, JJ, and he's always posting like the different pictures and things that he's making all the time on his Instagram, and then he's sharing different art that he likes on LinkedIn. That's awesome. Why keep doing that? You know what I mean? I mean, no, it doesn't matter. And that's just an example, but I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it could be like working on cars, and that's all the content that you could be posting. I mean, it doesn't have to be something you monetize, and that's the other thing everyone gets wrapped up in, especially in the podcast world, is how can I monetize this? How can I monetize that? If it's just an extension of who you are or helping you self-develop and things like that, yes, can it lead to potential jobs or clients and things like that? Oh, hell yes, it probably could. And there's tons of people that it does, Zach Scriven, Mark Nutry. I mean, there's tons of people that have monetized what they're doing, but that doesn't mean that you have to actually monetize what you're doing. What I mean by that is if you listen to Mark's podcast or Zach's podcast, they don't have any ads. Now, that doesn't mean that they haven't monetized their product. They've monetized their content, but that's just because people seek them out for reasons of their content. So that's just the other thing. That shouldn't be a barrier in creating content or video content or anything like that. I mean, you should just be you, and the content should help you grow you. Because at no point in time do I think you're not a finished product. I'm nowhere near a finished product, but even a finished product, the hell does a finished product mean? I think it's the same thing as thinking about what is perfect. So I just think that shouldn't be a barrier. I mean, that used to be a barrier for me. Is this needs to be perfect, and then you can't compare your content, especially video content, because there's a lot of video content that looks wonderful, but that doesn't mean that if you can't do that and you're only doing selfies in the car, selfies while you're walking, who cares? Or you're doing selfie videos from your laptop. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. Nothing has to be 100%, you know? Everything needs to look like Sam's videos or Q's videos. I mean, that's okay. It's okay to, it doesn't have to be polished. You know what I mean? I mean, that's something that I struggled with. I thought, oh man, everything needs to look good. I mean, granted, there's some people not going to probably watch it or listen to it or read it if it's not the most polished thing in the world. Yes, because that's just how it's going to be. But that doesn't mean that you still shouldn't put out your content. Doesn't mean that you can't grow a following. And so that shouldn't be a barrier either. I think you should just, if you have something to say it. You'll cultivate that message over time as you're basically practicing your message, and you'll get better. And then connect with people and grow. Push upon the box that you live in and expand your visual space of how you're living. So that's kind of my rant. I'm going to use that word rant on content, more specific is video content, but take that as anything. I mean, if you're afraid to write stuff because you feel that people are going to nitpick your writing, or when you do video content, you're physically putting yourself out there, so people are putting a face to your name and to your message and to what you're saying, and so hell yeah, that can be scary. Or it could just be you don't care because you've got something to say and that's how you want to say it, and however it comes across, how it comes across. And if it's wrong, that's fine, because then you're going to learn something. We can't all just put our best selves in front of the camera, or even pen to paper. Well, in this case, not pen to paper, but keystrokes onto e-documents. I mean, I messed up a whole bunch of times on LinkedIn and on Instagram, and it doesn't matter. I posted pictures where I cut stuff off, blundered through things, posted a podcast where it's only the first 30 seconds. There's all sorts of stuff, but I'm going to leave stuff how it is and how it comes across, because this whole journey that I am sharing on the Nameless podcast is in no way trying to be shaped into some fake perfect journey picture in time. It's a journey and it's a growth, and I'm trying to show that growth irregardless of anything. So that's what I got for today. That's Nameless Podcast. I'm Matthew Lopez-Kronicz. If you ever want to get a hold of me, two great places to interact with my own content and so I can interact with your content: LinkedIn at Matthew Lopez-Kronicz, and on Instagram at Matt Lopez-Kronicz. Also post all my videos on YouTube, so at Matt Lopez-Kronicz on YouTube. Check that out. Subscribe anywhere you see my content, anywhere that strikes you. That'd be great. If you're liking the podcast or not liking the podcast, hey, leave a review. Love to hear from it. Love to hear your thoughts, learn and grow. I mean, really, that is my thesis of my life. If there's anything I can ever do for anyone, you let me know. Love to hear from people. Love to talk to people all around the world. It's a lot of fun. One day I'll get to travel around and meet people from all around the world. Kind of like Zach. That'd be cool. That's all I got for today. Hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.